The first and only dog I've ever had the pleasure of raising is named Allie. Our story began on a cold December night in Nacogdoches, Texas, where I grew up. That night, the air was thick with silence and frost. I was staying at my grandparents' property, a place filled with memories of climbing trees, catching catfish in the backyard pond, and watching the sun dip below the pine trees. It was the kind of quiet country evening where the only sounds were crickets and the occasional rustle of leaves in the distance. But something was different that night. As I walked past the back of the house, I heard a faint, high-pitched whimper. The noise didn't stop. It grew louder, more insistent. Curious and a little worried, I followed the sound to the old, weather-beaten shed at the far end of that property. The shed had been there longer than I had. It was dilapidated and falling apart, with rusted hinges and broken windows, a place where my grandparents' hordes of junk went to die. I opened the door cautiously and was hit by the damp, musty smell of forgotten things. I scanned the cluttered interior with my flashlight until it landed on a tiny shape tucked behind a leaning bookshelf. There she was, a soaking wet, shivering puppy, barely more than skin and bones. She looked up at me with wide, terrified eyes, her little body shaking from cold and fear. Although her fur was matted, her ribs visible, and she looked like she hadn't eaten in days, her tail was wagging, fast and frantic. My own heart melted at the sight. I didn't even hesitate. I reached out slowly, murmuring soft reassurances, and she let me lift her into my arms. She curled into the crook of my neck like she belonged there. I rushed her inside and filled the guest bathroom sink with warm water. Gently, I rinsed the mud and grime from her fur. She didn't resist, didn't squirm. She just looked at me with eyes full of quiet trust and something I can only describe as gratitude. In that moment, even though she was dirty, cold, and scared, I felt this unspoken connection. I knew deep down that she was meant to be mine. After that night, Allie became part of my world. I made her a warm bed out of old towels, fed her soft food, and watched her grow stronger day by day. With each meal, each nap, each walk around the property, she blossomed. Her fur grew shiny, her eyes brighter, and her little frame filled out. She turned into a lean, muscular puppy with endless energy. I was in awe of how fast she recovered, not just physically but emotionally. The fearful puppy I had found in the shadows transformed into a joyful, mischievous companion. Allie loved to run more than anything else in the world. I would let her loose in the fields behind the house, and she would sprint like her life depended on it. Watching her felt like watching a wild animal reclaim its freedom. Her legs stretched with each bound, ears flopping, tongue lolling out with pure delight. She was fast, graceful, and absolutely fearless. I often wondered if she was a wild horse in her past life. Raising Allie was both exhilarating and exhausting. She was a ball of energy, always wanting to play or explore. I did everything I could to give her the best life. I played with her multiple times a day, taught her how to fetch, sort of. She preferred to chase the ball and then run away with it.